Good morning, my Patriots. How y'all guys doing? Welcome to another edition of You Guessed It, Joel Davis Media Network. If it's your first time tuning into the broadcast, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell up top. Please like and share. Please like and share. So today I do not have nothing on fancy. Okay, it's Saturday. I have a lot of housework to do. So I'm in my housework gear. Do not care because this is how you know that I am just like the rest of you, normal. All right. Now I want to say before I start the show, I want to give a shout out to everyone who donated on the Cash App yesterday, and I'm about to do that in the super chats. Now on the Cash App side, I want to give a shout out to. Give me 1 second. I gotta go through my messages. A lot of y'all was trying to help me. I appreciate you guys, and I'm dumping it all in, trying to just fun to get this computer. If you haven't heard, my computer spazzed out on me, so now I have a computer. But it's okay because everybody has been pitching in to help your boy. So we gonna get it done. So first up, I want to say thank you to. I gotta scan down. Y'all give me one moment. Oh man, it's a lot of donations. I gotta start from the beginning. Okay, shout out to Jared for the $10 uh donation on Cash App. I appreciate you. Shout out to Jill. Thank you for the $25 on Cash App going towards the computer fund. All right. So if you haven't heard, I'm trying to get the $300 real quick. Times are hard. That's what I need to get me a MacBook Pro right quick to be able to, well, actually $350. So that way I could be able to keep the show like it was with the upgrades. But you know what? It's fine. We're going to make it do what it do with what I got with what I'm working with now. Uh, I did got my 4K camera back working, thank God. I got it connected to my Android laptop, so we'll see what happens from there. So hopefully, this stuff will come together and we will continue to shine. All right. So with that being said, let's jump in today's story. Get a little back from the camera a little bit so y'all can see some of the movement. A lot of stuff happened in Glacier Valley, man. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff nobody's talking about, but we're gonna get into it. All right, we're gonna talk about what's going on. I'm gonna pull up my archives. I know the story that y'all see up there is pretty straightforward. So y'all give me a moment. I'm gonna pull up the story as well. Y'all jump in the comment section this time and tell me what you think about this latest stories that's going on in Glacier Valley. All right, because unlike everybody else, I want to know too what in the world is going on. Why are we having this type of problem? It's crazy. So let's go into this right quick. Let me pull up the first one, and I'll be right back. Give me one moment.
No bail for the man accused of murdering an 11-year-old girl in Lawrence, which went unsolved for decades. Marvin McClendon appeared in court today.
Boston 25 News reporter Bob Ward has been covering Melissa's case for years. He featured it on New England's Unsolved. And Bob, we're finally learning more information about what led to this arrest.
Now, this guy did a cold case. He actually murdered a little girl back in 1988. Okay, now the reason why I'm doing this cold case on here, because I want people to understand that no matter how old you are, justice will come for you. You know, I see a lot of these older men and older women that get in these cold cases. They're in the old age, they're frail. People talking about in their family, oh, please, mom, daddy, or my mom is sick. You know, have mercy on them. Well, here's the thing. They didn't have mercy on the things that they did to the people they hurt. In fact, they didn't have so much mercy that they went and lived their own lives. This man lived his best life for 34 years after killing this 11-year-old child. So no, he shouldn't get no bail. He should feel everything that he did to that little girl in his last days. Because you know what they say, an eye for an eye.
Yeah, we are finding out today that there is DNA evidence in this case. A prosecutor also said that the suspect himself told investigators information about this murder that was not publicly available. So tonight, friends of the victim feel they're finally close to getting justice.
Another thing I want to add to this story, a lot of people not understanding is how they're cracking these old cases so quick and so rapidly. Well, let's talk about DNA. Do you know, guys know, and I'm not trying to help no criminal out, I'm just trying to be real 1,000 about this, is that if you put your DNA out there to those sites, what they call Ancestry.com, 23andme.com, all that stuff, right? These new genealogy type of websites. That means that your DNA is now public and open season. All they have to do is go to that company, link you to somebody in your family, and it's a wrap. So let's just say someone's DNA in your bloodline or in that family tree, you know, comes up, they can trace you back to that point. It's getting real out here. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, it's getting real, very real. It's no joke. Let's continue.
Your Honor, this is the matter of Marvin McClendon.
Prosecutors say this is the face of a killer who has gone unpunished for decades. 74-year-old Marvin McClendon in Lawrence District Court now charged with first-degree murder for the death of 11-year-old Melissa Tremblay back in 1988.
I was 10 years old.
1988. He was living his best life from 1988 again, guys. Think about this, to 2022. This little girl had no shot at all. Yes, it was, MK Joe. It was a good year for me. I was like 5 years old in 88. Just doing my thing. This young girl, wow, man, is literally my age. This is wow, man. And see, people don't understand that in the 80s, in the early 90s, pedophilia was up at an all-time high. I'm talking about you had so many of these guys running around. That's why a lot of people have a lot of issues now that are alive. A lot of children were extremely abused in that period because back then no one knew the signs. You know, kids didn't tell because kids were scared. You know what I'm saying? You could, I mean, there was a story my uncle told me about someone he knew of back in that time, Laughing Dog 88. Um, that there was a young girl that was being violated by her own father. As soon as her mother died, he took her in. And yeah, he took her in. Like he literally took her in as a as his wife. So yeah, so this is how extreme it was in the 80s. This was nothing new. And in a lot of cases got unsolved because of the technology. People didn't know the psychological makeup of how these people really are. Let's continue.
Years old when this happened, so you imagine a person in your head and what they could possibly look like and who they could be, and and then you look and you see a frail old man.
On September 12, 1988, Melissa Tremblay's body was found on the railroad tracks of the Boston and Maine terminal in Lawrence. She was fatally stabbed, and one of the trains severed her leg after her death. The night before her murder, Melissa Tremblay was with her mother at a nearby social club, but she was allowed to freely roam the area unsupervised while her mother drank. The case baffled investigators for decades, but in 2014, prosecutors allege cutting-edge
All right, I'm back, guys. My screen went out. I don't know how that happened, but we about to get back to the store. We about to put it back up here. Sorry about that. My whole computer, my whole tablet restarted on me. So I don't know what that was about, but we about to make it happen. Sorry about that, guys. It happens. Bear with me. A little technical difficulty this morning.
one, a witness saw Melissa near the night before she disappeared. In court, a prosecutor said Melissa's fatal neck wound was caused by a left-handed killer, Marvin McClendon.
Taken from the defendant before you, Marvin McClendon.
Severed her leg after her death. The night before her murder, Melissa Tremblay was with her mother at a nearby social club, but she was allowed to freely roam the area unsupervised while her mother drank. The case
Now I want to say something to this, guys. Back then, and I want to be very clear, back then, a lot of mothers and fathers let their children roam by themselves in these areas. I never said it was right, but that's just the era we were in back then. Like I said, the people that are with me right now, that was older in the 80s, teenagers, King Refuge, None of Your Business can relate. MK Joe, all y'all, Laughing Dog, y'all can relate to this. Y'all are from that era. Y'all knew how bad it was. It was, it wasn't that bad back then. You lived in a small town and your mom went to drink. You could leave your 11-year-old and 12-year-old free to roam. Hell, you could leave 11 or 12-year-old in the house for 2 straight days, and they knew how to cook and feed for themselves. That was just the norm back then in the 80s, in the early 90s. Today, you do that now, man, oh man, you looking at all types of child endangerment and stuff like that. I mean, it was different. Yeah, we were too. I mean, I remember my oldest brother, growing up, he never let nobody inside. And he was part of the age, you know what I'm saying? He along with you, Laughing Dog, probably. I think he came out between 88 and 89. So let's continue with this, man. Real talk.
He's baffled investigators for decades. But in 2014, prosecutors allege cutting-edge DNA technology began to unravel the mystery of Melissa's death.
DNA samples were taken from the defendant before you, Marvin McClendon, whose DNA profile was consistent with the DNA profile that was found on Melissa Tremblay's body.
At the time of Melissa's murder, McClendon lived in Chelmsford but hung out in Lawrence. The former Department of Corrections employee also owned a van similar to one a witness saw Melissa near the night before she disappeared. In court, a prosecutor said Melissa's fatal neck wound was caused by a left-handed killer. Marvin McClendon, prosecutors say, is left-handed. All of it almost too much for retired Lawrence detective Tom Murphy to talk about.
All I can say is it's a great day in law enforcement today.
Meanwhile, another childhood friend who didn't want her face shown could barely contain her anger.
You took the life of an 11-year-old girl, and then you went on for another 33 years walking free. And where was she? In a grave. And there's everything wrong with that.
And see, I agree with this lady, because look at this, 33 years is a long time. It really is. 33 years is a long time. This man has probably created great grandchildren. He's probably have grandkids he done seen. There's a lot of things that he's done in his life that this little girl have not had a chance to. She would have been about 45 or 46 years of age. She would have probably been able to experience being a grandmother for the first time. You know what I'm saying? She could have been able to experience seeing her children grow up, not only graduate from high school, but from college. She might have been able to see one of her children, get married. This is the type of stuff that I feel for the family that goes through this. I feel for the friends because they have every right to say that. They have every right to be mad and angry because this guy, what he did was despicable. He can look as frail as he want to look. What he should be doing is asking God, can he get his soul right? Because, I'm not trying to be religious in here, but I'm just being real. Yep, mine was like that too, Jet. But Jet, now it's just that you can't have your children going outside as you used to, unless you're in a gated community or in a suburb. You let your children go outside in some of these areas now, they may come back in with a wounded or kidnapped. I mean, the world is different than when it was when me and you and the rest of us was growing up, and that's just facts. It really is. Let me finish the story out here. Y'all, like I said, bear with me. We're trying. Bear with me.
Talk to us about what it means to the community when a family finally gets justice after waiting for so many years.
You know, it's like a lightning bolt out of the blue to hear suddenly there's an arrest in a case that people have been waiting such a long time for justice. In this case, 33 years. And for the people close to the victim, it's always different, but it can be very emotional. And I think we saw that here in court today. We saw that retired police detective who's been working this case almost his entire career was getting very choked up even thinking about it. And those childhood friends today, they were just kind of overcome thinking about their friend that they haven't seen since they themselves were about 10 years old, and now finally having a face to the man who's been in their nightmares for all these decades is almost too overpowering for them. So Vanessa, it's a day really of mixed emotions in this case and in other cases when something like this happens.
Yeah, we could really feel those emotions with you as we were watching that story this afternoon, Bob. And I know they appreciate you keeping Melissa's story alive. You do great work, Bob. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Vanessa.
Shout out to that guy, man. Shout out to that dude. Real talk. Shout out to that guy. Yeah, that speaks volumes. This guy could have went on other stories. He did not. His mindset was to bring this girl's killer to justice, and he did just that. And guys, that's important. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really important to do that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, to give somebody's memory, because a lot of times, you know, a lot of these people will give up on these cases. Some people, because it's just too demanding. You know, it's, you know, you don't know who the killer is. You don't know who did what, but he didn't do that. He was determined to get to the truth, and with his thirst for the truth, he got it. So I have no remorse for this old guy. Not for this old Glacier glider. Sorry, I don't. He did something that was atrocious. He went out here, he murdered a child. You know, he murdered a child. And when you murder a child, dude, like, I don't have no kind of love for you. Like, I can't. There's no words for that. You know, that's just despicable. I don't care if you did it, if you was in 1930. A murdered child is murdered child. Thank you, Jet. It'll be fine, Jet. We're going to make it work, man. We're going to make it. I'm not going to let it defeat me. I'm determined to give y'all material. I mean, that's just what I am. If I have to do it off of one account all day long, one way or the other, we'll get it. We will get it. We get to what we got. Yeah, thank you, TSM. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's all y'all got to do. That's the one right there. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. We're going to do it. We're going to make it. And if you can't donate, just join the membership, man. It's $2 a month. Every little bit helps. All right, we're going to switch up here. We're going to go about this lady right here.